Hey tubes, David back with yet another computer related video like I mentioned in the previous one, and this is going to be on my Dell Dimension 8300 that I received for free a couple of weeks back and have done a couple things. It's in pretty good shape. The plastics are still slightly beat up in some spots, and I'm hoping to be able to fix that. As you can see, it's got a Windows XP and a Pentium 4 sticker on the front, which, yes, it still has a Pentium 4 hyper-threaded 3 GHz Northwood based, and is still running Windows XP. There's two optical drives, both of them support DVD and CD, no floppy drive in this, and I've yet to figure out why, but the hard drive activity light actually doesn't seem to function on this system. It might be a loose connector, and it's all pretty well original other than I would imagine the drive and a couple little things. The fan on these are such a pain in the arse. Those little rubber things that hold it in actually broke off, so I just put a couple regular fan screws. And as you can see here, the plastic has actually kind of come off the case a little bit. And you probably can't see very well, but it looks like the system had sat somewhere it was really dirty, and it's all black in some spots. Maybe I can get that cleaned up. Let me see if I can actually just ever so gently get this open a little more. There we go. These clamshell cases don't really give you much room to open them. Still the original Dell motherboard and power supply. It's got an 80 gigabyte Seagate, I do believe, 7207. Graphics card is an FX 5700, 256 meg with the 3 GHz Northwood Pentium 4. It's got a whole 3 gigs of RAM in it. Here's the optical drives all sitting up there nicely. I would like to get the board completely out of this so I can actually give the case a good bath, as I cleaned it up as much as I could, and it's still kind of dirty in some spots. I did get the heatsink all cleaned up nicely and whatnot. There's the fan in there. I don't think it's a Delta, but it's one of those really loud fans that Dell uses in their systems and will ramp up like mad. If this was a Prescott, I imagine I would be hearing it a lot louder than I did. Go to the back of the board here. We have serial. Let me actually rotate this whole thing. Serial, parallel, PS2. There's 6 USBs, 100 meg Ethernet, 6 channel audio. I don't know if I could actually use it that way because the drivers from Dell's site didn't actually give me a control panel. Here's a video card, VGA, DVI, S-video out, all that fun stuff. Not sure what the wattage on the power supply is, but it's definitely enough for this system, and as this being a 2004 model, pretty well takes every model of socket 478 CPU available. There is 2 SATA connectors on this board, 4 PCI and 1 AGP, so this would be a mid-tower machine. Quite nice. If I wanted to add another better sound card or something later on, I could do that. Getting all the drivers figured out for this machine were fun, as if you put the service tag in for this particular machine, it gives you like no drivers, just the BIOS update, so I had to go right to the main Dimension drivers and pick and try and figure out which ones were which. This has SoundMax audio, Intel Ethernet, and all that fun stuff. We'll go ahead and hit the power button. This thing actually boots up a lot quicker than this machine, even though this is an 80 gig on IDE and this is a terabyte on SATA. You'd think the SATA drive would still boot a little bit faster. SATA secondary drive, oh, not found. Oh yes, I pulled my SATA drive out at one point from this machine to copy a couple games over and whatnot to this, and forgot to disable that in the BIOS so it doesn't complain, because these Dells like to complain if you have a drive turned on in the BIOS but it's not actually connected, so you have to hit F1 just to continue. It's kind of foolish, but we'll see in a minute here. Oh, just about booted. Come on. No password on this. I don't really need one, as it's not connected to the internet all the time, and I only plug it in once in a while. It would seem I plugged the keyboard and mouse into the wrong ports, and now it's not happy. And Windows wants to take a minute to actually detect them correctly, so we'll go ahead and fix that. Back here, like so. There we go. Because every time you plug a USB device into a different port, Windows has to reinstall a driver, and that is actually quite annoying. You'd think it would remember the driver file already and just be able to go and do that, but nope. Other operating systems like Mac OS X or Linux don't do that. If Linux actually had the app support like Windows did, I wouldn't even be using Windows on any of my computers, I don't think. And it seems to have locked up. Oh, there we go. There's the local disk C. As you can see, I've already used a fair bit of the 80 gigs, well, 74.5. There's the DVD drives. One's a Samsung, one's a Lite-On. Go ahead and bring up my computer properties here. Intel Pentium 4 at 3 gigahertz, 3 gigs of RAM. All that fun stuff. It's using actually a really old version of the NVIDIA drivers. I hadn't updated in years, but if we go here, LE. It's the LE model, but that's okay. It still plays games nicely. I've got Unreal Tournament, Age of Empires, Diablo 2, and the ZS NES emulator on here. We could actually go ahead and see how quick. Oh, there we go. It's already bringing up Unreal Tournament. Just want to show you guys how well this actually plays. I had to update DirectX and swap out the graphics card as I found the game didn't play very well on the FX 5700 that was in here originally, and all that jazz. So let's go practice session. Runs pretty good. It's actually running in Direct 3D, as this game can do Direct 3D or software rendering. Software rendering is better for older systems that don't really have the graphics horsepower of some. Unreal Tournament is one of few games that will run just on about every version of Windows known to man, up until about probably 95 or so. Anyways, that's all for this video. I guess I'll talk to you guys later.